I've been involved in this community now for several years, almost 5. And there's one question that comes up each and every single year, and that is about money on the Appalachian Trail. How much do you need? Well, today we're going to talk about it a little bit here on the Legend of Teardrop. I'm Teardrop, by the way. This is Teardrop, and welcome to New to the Wild. All right, everybody. Now, when it comes to the Appalachian Trail, there's always one subject that is always asked, and we always talk about it, and there's different answers from everyone, and that's money. How much money do you need to hike on the Appalachian Trail? Now, let me give you a little backstory. When I first came into the community about 5 years ago, I was in a much different situation than maybe I am even today. Now, when I first came in, I saw it. I saw people spending $5,000, $10,000, and I said to myself, I ain't trying to do that shit. I bet I can do this shit on only $1,000, maybe only $2,000, maybe even less. Well, you know, the hiking veterans came out and said, no, you can't. You may think you could pass towns up. You may think you could pass up a nice sandwich. But the truth of this is, you're only thinking that now. And I used to tell them, fuck you. I'm a know-it-all. Fuck you. I know what I'm talking about. I can do it. And I thought that because, hey, I've done time in prison. I've been without. I've done without. I figure, shit, this ain't nothing. Well, excuse my colorful language, by the way. Well, you should be used to it by now. But anyways, at the end of the day, what I could come to find out is that the old timers were right. So let's really look at money in the Appalachian Trail. Now, we all seem to think, particularly if we've watched other YouTubers like Nemor. Now, Nemor was able to do the Appalachian Trail on about $2,000. I think that was the numbers that he put in his video. And that's including him being a smoker and things of that nature. The truth of this is, though, is that not all of us are like Nemor, and you can't expect yourself to be either. Hear me out. When you first come out into the Appalachian Trail, you're like, all right, I'm going to get to Neal's Gap. And you'll get to Neal's Gap, and at that moment, you haven't spent no money other than getting to the Appalachian Trail, which, may I add, can cost anywhere between $100 to $500. Not to mention if you stay at a hostel or one of the resorts prior to hiking on the Appalachian Trail. You could be 500 in the negative before you even take a single step on the Appalachian Trail. That's a fact. And no matter what you do, the odds of you being in the negative before you even start is pretty high. Because unless you are getting driven and dropped off, either on Springer or at Amicalola, you're going to need a shuttle. And a shuttle costs. Shuttles are not cheap. They're not cheap by any means. It's usually about $1 to $2 a mile. More like $2 a mile. So, moving on. Once you get to Neal's Gap, your body is in shock. The first 30 miles of the Appalachian Trail are intense to people that are not consistently hiking before they go onto the Appalachian Trail. So now you get here. You got this nice bed, kind of. Or you may even decide to splurge and get the Blood Mountain cabins, which is what I would recommend, by the way. But then you will see that they don't have beer there. So maybe you want to shuttle into Helen to get a beer. That's going to cost you. Helen's got cheap prices when it comes to the liquor store and buying beer or whatever you want to buy. But the shuttle itself is going to cost you because it's about 9 miles away, I believe, from Neal's Gap. But let's say you don't want to go buy beer. Let's say you want to, that's where you're going to resupply. The resupply at Neal's Gap is quite expensive, but also, now you're looking at the pizzas you can heat up. Now you're looking at the sandwiches you can heat up. Now you're looking at the soda pops you can consume. Now you're looking at the candy bars you can eat. And you start spending. And that's just the first stop. So if you can make it out of that first stop without spending $100, kudos. Or maybe even 75, kudos. Now, with most of these stops along the Appalachian Trail, here's what you will spend. You will spend $20 to $25 on lodging. And if it's a hotel, that will be more like 50 to 60. You will then spend 30 to 50 to $75 on your resupply, depending on how many days you got ahead of you. You will also spend, let's say you like to eat out. I always budgeted really $20 on town food. Then if you drink, now I drank at every stop, so I would also have $20 budgeted for beer. So let's just say this. If you're a smoker, you must budget in your cigarettes. So let's just say you're a smoker. When you get here, you got $20 for the hostel, $5 for the laundry, $5 for your new gas fuel can. So that's what's that, 30? And 20 is a low end on the hostels, but it's average in the South. So that's 30 right there. Resupply, 30 to 50 to 75, we'll just say 50. That's 80 there. If you're going to do 20 on beer, that's 100 there. If you're going to do 20 on town food, that's 20 there. That's $120 for one town stop. And that's not including any shuttles you may need. Do you understand what I'm saying? By Hot Springs in 2017, I had spent $2,000, and that's a fact. Previously, on every other trip I had done, I had always spent $1,500 to $2,000 almost by the time I got out of motherfucking Georgia, and definitely by the time I got to the NOC or Fontana. This stuff is not cheap. Now, so you're asking yourself, can you do it on $2 a mile? That would be $4 grand, right? Yes, it can be done on $4 grand. It cannot be done, really, for most of us, on $1 a mile. The $1 a mile shit is bullshit. What Nemor did with that $1 a mile that he stuck to, it took great discipline that you do not know if you even have yet. That's an absolute fact. You don't know if you have that discipline or not. Most of the people that come out here, they didn't even make it to Neo's Gap because there used to be a place in such as Georgia called the Wolfpen Gap Country Store, and I used to work there. And I would tell you, man, people would come in there, and that's 20 miles into the trail, and they would spend hundreds. Some people would stay there 3 and 4 days and drink beer and eat pizza and do this and stay there for days. I'm not bullshitting you either. You may think that you have this internal discipline that's going to keep you from spending money, but that discipline may or may not show up. I believe I'm a very disciplined person, but on the Appalachian Trail, I spend freely, unfortunately, and I've given tens of thousands of dollars to this Appalachian Trail, and that's a fact. Now, so how much money is actually needed, okay? The truth of this is I view it at about $1,000 per month. $1,000 per month would make your hike comfortable. And you may say, well, fuck, my bills outside of the house are like, a little bit more than that, or a lot more, whatever the case may be. $1,000 a month is a lot for somebody that's sleeping in the fucking woods, I admit. But that's $6,000, a little bit more than $5,000. But it makes things comfortable. Because if you really look at it, that's $250 a week. And if you're resupplying on the trail, and you're eating town food, and you're enjoying yourself, that's truly what you'll probably need. Now, can it be done for less than $1,000 a month? Yes. I believe at the absolute bare minimum, $100 per week. No less than that. That's $400 a month. That's $2,400. Anything, and that is, you're killing yourself with that. There's not going to be hotel stays in that. There's not going to be a whole lot extra in that. $2,500 is, you are missing a lot. Whenever the other hikers around you want to go get a burger or a beer, you're not going to be able to do that. If something goes bad with your gear, you have to replace it. This isn't something that what if your backpacks, all right, for instance, let's say your strap breaks on your backpack, which happened to me once. Okay, you may not have to replace it because you may be telling me, I got an Osprey pack and they'll just give me another one. Okay, but you got to wait around until it's mailed to you, which means you have to pay for lodging. Yeah, you could go camp in the woods for days, but how many of you are really going to do that? How many people are you really going to camp in the woods without hiking and just sit in one camp spot for days? I'm just being honest with you. You know, on this channel, the one thing that separates me from the rest of these people is I keep it extremely real with you. You may call me vulgar. You may not like how I present my case. But the truth of this is as raw and as real as it gets. I was stupid like that at one point myself. And I'm telling you now, the answer, let's get into the details a little bit, okay? Like I said, we talked about each stop, about how much you would spend. Here's what I've broken it down to. There's about 35, 36 sections of the Appalachian Trail. That's what when I did my boxes last year, that's what I had 36 spots that I planned on going to. So it's literally broken down from 2,200 miles, one big trail, into 36 section hikes. Those 36 section hikes always typically ended in a town, obviously, or some sort of spot, some sort of place where you can resupply, or in that case, pick up boxes. So you need to look at something. If it's, let's just say you're only doing $100 every time you stop. That's $3,600. And you may say, I'm not going to do $3,600 every time I stop. Think about it. If your resupply is 50 to 75, your hostel's 20, your beer's 20, your cigarettes are 20, maybe if you're a smoker, your laundry's 5, your fuel's 5 to 10. Dude, yes, you are going to spend $100 probably every single time you stop, if not more. Because we're not even, that number I just gave you wasn't even taking into consideration the hiker hunger and what you're going to spend at restaurants. And if you don't think you can spend $20 at McDonald's, let me tell you, me and Kavy and Iceberg, we went into McDonald's and we spent $17 each on what we were eating that moment, at that very moment. And that was all, that was at that moment, each of us. And then we spent another 40 on what we were taking out. You do have no clue how hard that hiker hunger is going to hit you. And when you go into a restaurant, you may think to yourself that just a regular burger and fries at some diner is going to fill you up. But no, you're going to order 2 or 3 of those things. I'm not joking with you at all. So, for you people that I want to say this. I understand some people are broke. Some people are poor. Some people are maybe they just don't have nothing. Yes, there's ways you can do this on a small budget. I can help you plan it out. Just put it in the comment section. I'll teach you how to do it on a smaller budget. But the truth of this is, anything under $2,000 is not doable. Anything really under 25 is not doable. Not everybody is Nemor. Most of us aren't. If I had to give you a specific absolute number to take with you, I would say $5,000. If you can't take $5,000, you may want to wait till you can. Don't let money stop you from accomplishing your dream, though. But just understand, if you try to go with less than 5, less than 4, less than 3, or dangerously close to 2, you need to understand there's a lot of things you're going to miss. Loner was able to do it. Nemor was able to do it. Ask yourself, how much heart, how much discipline do you have? Just saying. I'm someone that's went without. It's been in prison. And it was hard for me. Because you get hungry, you get thirsty, and sometimes you just want a hotel and you just want to get fucked up. You just want to take a break. Just saying. Plus, you got to plan for your ride home. Gear breakdowns, you got to understand, man. I would recommend this. I would sit $500 back that you won't even touch just for gear replacements, just in case. Shoes, whatever. Particularly shoes. You're going to go through 4 pairs of shoes. That's another thing. If your shoes are $100 a piece, you're going to go through 3 or 4 pairs of shoes. So you might as well, that's $400 there. That's $400 motherfucking dollars. Ladies and gentlemen, when it comes to money on the Appalachian Trail, you have to be careful and you have to be strategic. You have to plan out your trail in advance. Don't just grab $5,000 and run off onto the trail, because you're going to end up broke by the time you get to Hot Springs. I'm telling you now. Don't believe me? Don't believe me? Go ahead and try it. Go ahead and try it. Money on the Appalachian Trail is a hot topic because it matters. The number one reason most people get off the trail is they run out of money. It was more expensive than they thought it would be. And if you think about it, while you're sitting there saying, $5,000 is too expensive, you're gone for 6 months. If you think $5,000 is too much money for 6 months of your life, how are you really living in real life? Maybe this ain't for you. All right, guys, I'm Teardrop, JB Gunner. That's money on the Appalachian Trail. Break it down monthly. Break it down per stop. Sit down. Make yourself a spreadsheet. And plan it. Look at the map. Say to yourself, okay, I'd like to eat there. Or blah, blah, blah. And I know a lot of these AT people, a lot of these hikers will tell you not to plan your shit because all plans go by the wayside. And that is true, they do. But you still got to have the plan. And even if you fuck it up a little bit, it doesn't matter. You got a baseline which to work with. Just trust me when I tell you. There's so many extra costs that will jump up. Whether it be shuttles, whether it be different, maybe the hostel price in the book is wrong. Maybe in this small town, a pack of fucking ramen noodles costs more than these other towns. You got to prepare for shit like this. So yes. Okay, so in closing, do not take, my advice, take $5 grand. $5 to $6 grand. And never take less than 2. Can it be done for 2 to 3? It would be a hard go. 3 and 4, you're a little bit more comfortable. $5 grand, you're going to have a great time. That's my honest opinion. I'm at it. Oh, don't take cash. I lost $1,000 on the top of fucking Albert Mountain because I reached in my pocket to grab my camera and $1,000 in cash literally flew off the fucking mountain. Use cards. Oh, call your bank. Let them know you'll be traveling in multiple states or they will shut your shit off. Security. All right, I'm out of here, man. This video's long enough. Peace out.
Bye, bitches.